Welcome back for NRL Fantasy Around the Grounds, Round 7. I'm Longy. You can find me at The Casual Athlete on YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram. That's The Casual Athlete there. Now, we're going to be going through game by game here, looking at each game, each big score, each disappointment, and working out whether we should panic or hold on to these guys. First group here, Roosters v Storm. Now, really good example here of how an edge can work really well together. You've got Jerome Hughes and Eli Katoa cranking 76 and 71 points. Couple of tries between them, a try assist, a line break, 3 line break assists, 10 tackle breaks between them as well. Just a really dominant performance for that edge. In the same vein, Sean Bloor, right? We talked about Sean Bloor a few weeks ago, coming in next to Munster. He's really benefited, but this is more of a base stat game for him with 56 points. So, yeah, very happy with all these guys. Sean Bloor there takes his average up to 51. Eli Katoa up to a 54.7 average too. Going down the list here, Joey Manu. Look, he goes back to center, 49 points. You're pretty happy with that. Rolling down the list, Gus Crichton, 80 minutes again is what we're happy with here. 46 plus points. I'm not super worried about that. It's just the 80 minutes we want to see. Then down the list here, Joe Chan got some decent minutes. Sofa Solomona came back. Nothing too crazy to report down the list. Probably not guys that you're going to own in your team anyway. Dragons and Warriors next. And look, Ben Hunt, he keeps on performing. 51.7 average. Very surprising. Whereas a Sean Johnson, that's not surprising at all for us. So 62.9 average. I think he averaged 63 last year. This is what we expect from him. Sean Johnson just been on fire. Again, got a bit of a rest at the end of the game. Scored a try. Had 500 kick meters. Yeah, just a really dominant all-round performance for SJ. Benoit Blake, 69 minutes, 62 points. This is an absolute cracker for him. He's a beast. And through the origin period, guys like him or Tohu Harris as well as 62 points could be really good options for your fantasy team. Big pods, they cost a lot of money to buy, but at the same time, they could be worthwhile. Going down the list, a couple of guys here, Eisenhuth and Fatala Mariner, both cranked decent scores. Zach Lomax had a big game in this one as well. Jack DeBellin, yeah, if he ever gets the big minutes again, that's going to be interesting. Nick Klokstad, so he had a couple of really big weeks and slowed down to a 35. He's about a career 42 average. I have him projected as a mid-40s guy. So, yeah, this is kind of what we can expect from him, those big games with the small games as well. Then rolling down, Flanagan, 13 points. He was a sell last week. He's definitely a sell this week. Get rid of him from your fantasy side. And then some rookies got less minutes there too. Next game here. Eels and the Dolphins. And my Parramatta Eels. This was a really tough game for us. The first guy I want to talk about here is Max Plus. So half and mid eligible, which is something we don't see super often in fantasy. For Max Plus, 528K. Not a bad price. Look, the big thing that was holding him back previously was he's getting about 50 minutes a game. But with this game, he got, 71 minutes. Scored 2 tries as well, but he was fantastic. He was in everything in this game. Will Penasini, he was getting very cheap, 63 points. Tough to trust him without Moses in the team. That's the big thing. Bostock had an absolute cracker, and Parramatta sort of stopped tackling him as well. As a Para fan, I can comment on that. I think Para will bounce back, but that was really tough, and he just carved up. Trey Fuller, he got 57. He's got about 4 more weeks in that role before Hamaso comes back. But then Hamaso is usually picked for Origin, so could be an interesting shout there. Ewan Aitken, he just keeps turning up, and look, not necessarily the job security you want, but he's been on fire. Dylan Brown, 48 points, scored that late try in this game that saved his day for fantasy. And yeah, Parramatta have some problems. Dylan Brown has been good through this period, but Parramatta have not. Then guys like Lucardi, 28 points. He's up and down for fantasy. Lusick, 28 points in 80 minutes. I think you can pretty much just sell Lusick at this point. 34 tackles, 28 points. Too many misses and only 5 meters run. Nothing on offer there. Gutho has been carrying an injury through this period as well. So, what you do with Gutho, I'm looking at selling Gutho personally. I got him for that 65-point game, and then he's picked up an injury since then and just been not his regular self. Parramatta also have a bye coming up very soon. And then Blaze came off the bench for this game too. So 9 points there, really quiet. Sean O'Sullivan, if you ever get to start again, he's on the bench right now. He's going to be very, very, very cheap for what he is because he's a high-quality fantasy player. Panthers and the Tigers next. And this one was a tough one. It could have gone either way through periods of this game. Tigers were looking really good early. They nearly went up 12-0 to start the game. But unfortunately, they couldn't carry on with it. And Isaiah Yeo was one of the big beneficiaries, 74 points. Had himself a try assist in this game. So For him, if you add on those attacking stats, he's already that 60 guy and he can just boost right up. John Bateman had a bounce back game. Look, 630K, he's getting very cheap. His break even was 72. He scored 71. So he didn't get any cheaper. But hey, if you wanted a pod, I don't hate John Bateman here. Dylan Edwards, absolute killer, 62 points. A lot of you have him, and you would be very happy with that. Tungo, no try in this game, still got 51 points. You can live with that from him in terms of the work rate. It's Okamano, 44 points. You probably want more if you paid big money for him. Alamotti scored 44. Now, this is one worth watching. Taylor May was out of this game. I expect he'll be back next week. Keep an eye on team lists, though, because Alamotti was very effective in this matchup. Good on the list. Coruscant, look, quite a game, 34 points. He can be very up and down. He relies on those attacking stats because he's such a creative player, but doesn't quite have that defensive work rate as some of the top hookers. And then, nothing too crazy to report down the list. Look, Liam Henry went back to some regular minutes, 22 minutes. He is pretty firmly a sell right now for your fantasy side. Titans and Seagulls, and this was a cracker. This is an absolute cracker. So 34-30. You thought the Titans might have gotten there at certain points this game, but not big fantasy scores considering how open and attacking this game was. Tanner Boyd came back with a bang, 63 points. We all know he can score fantasy points. Job security is not great for him, though. Ola Kawatu grabbed a try, 56 points. Look, we know who he is. He's one of the best edge back rowers in the game right now for fantasy and not for fantasy. Dave Fafita is that default best edge back rower, just out edged by Ola Kawatu. Scored that try at a dummy half that he's really the only guy in the comp that can do that. He's just picked it up, looked up at three guys in front of him, just charged right over them, which was absolutely crazy. 57 minutes as well. So if he gets back to big minutes, he's good. But the issue is Origin coming up very soon. Turbo grabs 2 tries with 2 line breaks in this game and scored 52. It's a good score, but you expect more when he scores 2 tries. So not a great fantasy day out necessarily, but a very good real day out. Joel F, 64 minutes, 50 points. Yeah, he's a bit of a beast, and he just keeps on rolling with Tino obviously out right now. Waddell, a lot of you guys got on him, 43 points. We were talking about last week. He's a 42 average in his career when he plays big minutes. 43 is basically right on the money there. This is what you can expect from Waddell until he eventually loses his spot, potentially to Ben Trbojevic in a few weeks' time. And then down the list here, Brimson scored a try, got 38 points. Not crazy for fantasy, but that try was pretty sick. Daly Trey Evans, 28 points. Crashed back to earth in this game. Look, he's going to be up and down throughout. It looks like Sean Johnson has got the last laugh here, but DCE has gotten you some very good games over the last few weeks. And it just shows that fixtures aren't everything. A Titans game coming up here. We thought DCE and maybe Ruben Garrick as well. We're going to have big games. Hasn't panned out that way. 23 points for Garrick. His break even was very high, 79 points. He's going to drop big cash here, so 50K plus from this game. He'll drop down to the mid 500s. Give it another week after this, he'll be down to about 520K prime buy at that point. So very exciting times for us fantasy owners. And nothing too crazy down the bottom. If you have Cleese Haas, he is pretty firmly a sell now. Broncos and the Raiders, and this is a big one. And yeah, this was a pretty sizzling performance from the Broncos. So I said to take a sip of water. It's a hot one. Look, Reece Walsh, 73 points, 2 tries, 5 goals, 3 line breaks, 6 tackle breaks, 200 meters run. Just a really big performance from him. Look, 611K. You've also got a break even around 67. So he's going to stay about that price. Reece Walsh, if you want to get him, their fixtures are really good heading into Origin, but then he will probably play Origin. Almost certainly will play Origin. It's a case of him versus Ponga in the situation. I think they'd be likely to keep both of those guys in the roster, one of them off the bench. Maybe they're both just so explosive. So I would not count on a Walsh through the Origin period. Same with Paddy Carrigan. He'll definitely get picked, but 69 points. He's done a really good job for us through this period where Payne Haas has been out. Haas will return soon, so I'm a little worried about that. Cobbo, we talked about him as a buy last week. 53 points. It's a good shout. He scored a try. He's going to score quite a few tries through this period, so enjoy that ride. Then Ezra Mam is a bit of a mirage. I wouldn't be jumping on this for fantasy. So again, very good player in real life. Very exciting player to watch. But 47 points with a try and 3 try assists in this game. His stat profile just doesn't add up for fantasy. That's the issue. He doesn't kick the ball that much and doesn't have that big defensive work rate. So, I'll always skip him for fantasy, but enjoy watching him in real life. Then going down the list here, we had a few guys get unexpectedly big minutes. Mariota came off the bench, played 60 minutes. Sunny played 80 minutes in this game as well. A lot of these guys got big minutes. And then a guy like Morgan Smithies only played about 47 minutes in this game. I was very surprised by this. I think he'll go back to 80 minutes next week, so I wouldn't panic too much. But yeah, guys like him and Terrell May, we're going to talk about soon as well. The minutes have just been so unreliable through this season. And Chevy Stewart, look, it was a tough day in the office. You go up against Brisbane, who are a good team. And look, a lot of like young fullbacks, young outside backs in general, they're going to have these tough days. This is a tough day for Chevy. But he kept his head up, kept on rolling, and got his score up above what it was. I think it was about -6, about half an hour in. So he sort of kept rolling, and good on him. He'll be back next week. For the Knights, Dylan Lucas scores a try, 60 points, big game for him. Bradman Bears, 56 points. Yeah, he's got a great run of fixtures coming up. We talked about him as a buy a few weeks ago. Kai Pierce-Paul, another 56 points. Just an absolute cracker for him. He's a great football player. Then Carraz, 48 points of the try was pretty sweet. Jaden Braley is a very interesting option here. He's going to get down to the 400s. I will be talking about him a lot in Buy, Hold, Sell this week on YouTube. Then going down the list here, Josh Adokar was really cheap. He's had another pretty big game, 40 points. You happy with that? Rolling down the list, Stephen Crichton had a try, 31 points. Can he get his price back up? He might get picked for Origin anyway, so it might be a bit too hard to grab him if you have him. Kellen Ponga, it's a tough one. He came to this game with niggle, had that injury in the hip area, and then picked up another foot injury apparently today as well. He was in a moon boot. Could be back next week, maybe. I don't have any idea of the severity, but it's a tough one because their fixtures are really good over this next month of footy. So if you have Ponga and he's going to miss 1 week, I'd probably hold him. But if he's going to be out for a while, it might be a sell at this point. Marzu, 17 points. He is getting so cheap. So his break even was 69. He was projecting a 28K loss at 44. So yeah, he's going to be dropping massive cash. He'll be down in the low 500s. He's a very interesting buy at some point if he can get it together. But yeah, 0 tackle breaks. Oh, wait, no, we got 3 tackle breaks in this game with 150 meters. You probably just need a bit more of those attacking stats for him, which if Ponga is out, probably aren't going to come anytime soon. All right, Sharkies and the Cowboys. This was a huge one. And for this one, Nico Hines, 86 points. We love to see it. So yeah, Nico's been sort of back and forth. He's been at mid-70s, then down to 50, then back to mid-70s, down to 50. This 86-point game felt like a bit of a statement game for mine. It felt like a game where he was coming out to sort of show up, and he was very dominant in this game. He had 413 kick meters, which is pretty great. 100 run meters. He had 30 tackles, 1 miss, and obviously the 2 try assists with 7 goals. Tommy Dearden had a good game. Mulatalo, he saved the day. He was very quiet early on. Hazelton, if you got on him, you are so happy because he has just been rising in price through the year and just absolutely killing it. Cotter, 50 points, 70 minutes, a workman-like performance, and we're pretty happy with that. Down the list, Nakora, he looked really good early and then just sort of got a bit quiet down the stretch. So 43 points, not quite what we were hoping for. Robbo, 41 points, got a rest in this game. They were just getting belted. It's a tough one. I wouldn't read into it too much with Robbo. Fita Fuyaki had one of his better games, so 27 tackles in this one. Look at his stat line, actually. 27 tackles, no misses, 86 meters. Pretty much just a base stat sort of performance. And for him, he hasn't been hitting these base stats previously. So I was actually very impressed by this for Finfuyaki. The issue is that Lukey is back very soon, and he's going to lose that spot pretty soon too. Chester, 39 points, pretty satisfied with that if you got him. Whereas Val Holmes, 36 points with the try, not as good. McInnes, 34 points in 48 minutes. This is the risk with Cam McInnes. The minutes just haven't been great. You had that period where they had basically everyone injured. Now they're back to semi-full strength. He's just going to lose minutes. Probably be a 50 average, I would say. So 34 isn't something I'd read into too much. But if I had McInnes, I'd be selling pretty soon, I think. Kyle Iro, look, this is a pretty good stat line for him in general. He had some tackle breaks in this game. He had about 170 run meters. Just didn't have the attacking plays or defensive work rate in this one. But I'm really happy with what I'm seeing from him. I think he's a week in, week out starter, regardless of the score. Stone Street played really good footy, so good on him. I don't know if he'll keep that spot necessarily, but I liked what I saw from him. So if he ever gets a longer stint, we'll be interested. Tamalolo is going to be basically a cash out at some point, 18 points here. I'll tell you what, through the Origin period, if you got down to about 250K, I would look at this pretty seriously because Cotter's going to be out for Origin. So keep an eye on that. Anyway, that is that's not buy, hold, sell. Sorry. That is our recap of round 7. Let me know how you went. If you had a big week, probably 800 plus is the marker. Then you would have flown up the ranks. If not, come back for next week. We'll see you on NRL.com as well as the Casual Athlete on YouTube. Peace out, everyone. You have a good weekend.